Hey everybody, it's Slashroom, also known as Cosmic, also known as my brand new Death Knight.
Ooh! Esskeetit!
This is a video for everybody who wanted kind of the follow-up to the Death Knight solo Blood Furnace guide, and this is really for people who are starting to gain some levels in there and looking for those next steps, looking for those gear upgrades and all of those things. So this is the video for you. And I really just want to say thank you to everybody. Like, I'm just kind of overwhelmed by like all the support and just how much traction the first video got, and just really excited to continue to create more content throughout Wrath and bring you guys more guides and answer all your questions. So what I do want to show you in this video is the spec and the gear upgrades, and specifically when you make the change to these is at level 66, and we'll explain why here in a second. Okay, so this is kind of like the gear I ended up with at 70, okay? And I'll put a link to this in the description below. I did have engineering, so I did have the Furious Gizmatic Goggles, and I will show you, you'll actually see in this, get this metagem live. It's called the Enigmatic, I believe. The Enigmatic Skyfire Diamond. It requires more red gems than yellow gems. So all you have to do is not have yellow gems, or orange for that case, and just have some sort of red or blue gem. And you can put a blue gem in your goggles, and you could use goggles without any other gem slots anywhere else, okay? So just a good thing there. You can start using Necklace of Trophies at level 67. Same shoulders. You can get Shroud of the Frenzy as early as 62. Adamantite Breastplate is 67. You can also use Fel Iron at 62. You can get Adamantite Bracers at 66. I stopped at level 65, and I went and did Ring of Blood. Now, from what I've heard, Ring of Blood is a little bit crazy right now, so you might not want to do that. But I went and got the Honed Void Axe, and I put Savagery on it. You can, again, also go get the Sword from Hala at 66, okay? But you can get the Honed Void Axe at 65. If you're lucky, you can get the Iron Blade Gauntlets off the first boss, the Maker. I only saw them 3 times the entire time I ran this. Unfortunately, these dang gloves are just not dropping for people. You can get the Fel Iron Plate Belt. This is only better if you have the 2-piece, because I wouldn't want to lose the hit rating off of the DK Starter Zone belt. And then I just kept Fel Iron Plate. Boots, everything's the same. Trinkets. I did double Mercurial Stone. You can use these at level 65. These are made by an alchemist. It takes 1 primal mana, 1 primal life, and 1 primal earth, I believe. Tons of hit rating, tons of stamina, highly recommended. So that's the gear. As far as talents, this is what I ended up with at level 70 by the time I hit 70, and I think we kept it at 69. Basically, what you're doing is you're switching from survivability talents to damage talents. So you go 3 out of 3 Subversion, you go down to 2 out of 5 in Bladed Barrier here. So I'll go up so you can see this Blade Barrier. Bladed Armor is 5 out of 5. You pick up 1 point in Scent of Blood. This is kind of a flex point. I did fill out two weapon specialization. You can just put 1 point there. So these are kind of like your more flexible talents. Death Rune Mastery, I would say, is absolutely required. There's no reason not to take this, in my opinion. You always want those things going to Death Runes so that you have more flexibility and more options while you're in there. Same thing with Dark Conviction, 5 out of 5. You've got all the same talents here. We've got this. A lot of this is the same as the other build, okay? Here's where things get new. Hysteria. Now you can buff yourself, okay? This is going to increase your damage a lot, but it's also going to take health from you. So a lot of times I'll use some sort of cooldown with it, you know, like I'll use Rune Tap, or I'll use Vampiric Blood, and just make sure I'm healing myself while I'm using it. So just remember that. You're going to be taking a little bit more damage. Improved Death Strike is the same. You can max out Sudden Dooms for those free procs. We keep Vampiric Blood. We drop Will of the Necropolis, and we pick up Might of Mograine. Same thing here with Heartstrike. Then you can go and pick up Blood Gorged and Dancing Rune Weapon. Make sure you keep these 7 points over here. It's really just so you have Epidemic. That's the big one. And then obviously you're going to use Anticipation to get there. You could actually probably go into Virulence, but you don't really need the spell hit at this point. You could go into Vicious Strikes. I would just keep it in Anticipation. It's nice to have the dodge. If you think that this is going to speed up your run, where you have less downtime, I would put a point into here. You know, at some point, and maybe don't use Scent of Blood, don't use 2-hand weapon specialization. Again, it's all based on kind of how you're running. Like if you're finding that it's fine, then you don't need this. You're going to be able to start pulling like lots of stuff. Okay, the damage gets crazy once you hit 66, okay? Now, I will say, once you hit 67, make sure you macro Rune Strike into some of your abilities. I macroed it into Blood Strike, and I macroed it into Death Strike, and it does insane damage, okay? So big shout out to Mero on the Blight Club Discord. He's the one who came up with the spec. I actually tested some other things out, and I just didn't like any of them, and I was like, dude, this spec you came up with is awesome, okay? Now, I do want to talk about Death and Decay a little bit, because people have asked about that. The two abilities people have asked about the most are Death and Decay and Blood Boil. I don't think Death and Decay is worth it at all. And a lot of people have agreed with me. They've said the same thing. They're like, every time I use Death and Decay, it kind of feels bad. I wish I had those runes back for something else. And I agree. I just don't think Death and Decay is worth it. I also don't think Blood Boil is worth it. I looked at the damage. Even on up to 4 targets, Heart Strike was still doing more damage. So once you switch this over and you have all these talents that are buffing Heart Strike, you just want to be Heart Striking and Death Striking. It's just not worth it to Blood Boil.
What's the meaning of life?
Who is my real father?
Will I ever find a husband?
Am I gonna get sick? Does God really exist?
For centuries, people have turned to one man for the answer to life's great mysteries. That man is Negrodamus.
This run probably takes to get to 70, probably about 8 to 9 hours. How much XP per hour? Upwards of 600,000 per hour, okay? And I was consistently getting 540 to 580, and I was just going kind of slow. I wasn't even pushing myself far enough. I was telling people now to go, hey, you need to clear this whole dungeon. You need to clear this whole thing at 66 and 67. So I have friends that were doing that now, and they were getting 600,000 XP. Can you do it as Unholy? Yes, you can, but it did test a lot slower than doing it as Blood. Do you have to use Frost Presence? Yeah, you'll get squished without it. It's definitely not worth it. A lot of people asked what macros I was using, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what macros I'm using. Guys, it really wasn't anything crazy. They were really just start attack macros. I will say once you get into the higher limits, you will go into you'll start to add Rune Strike into your attacks. There is another way to level through Blood Furnace as a Death Knight, and it includes resetting the Gauntlet. So there is kind of an exploit where you can do a reset, and if you've done these resets before, the way it works is you kind of jump on a wall and you'll bug out that last mob. The mob resets, and what it does is it resets the entire Gauntlet, and then you can continue to reset the Gauntlet over and over again and farm that area. Now, we didn't get an XP per hour number with this, so I actually don't know if it's faster than just clearing the whole dungeon on your own. The mobs after the second boss just are completely easy. They fall over, they don't hit very hard. You can AoE the imps down. The last boss is super easy. So I recommend just doing the full clears at like 66 and onward. And also, you know, if you want to try out the Gauntlet, you absolutely can. It's up to you. But just know that it is an exploit. So you can try that, see which one brings you more XP, but that is also an option. How fast is it duo? It is less XP and it's slower. Any other comp, if it's anything other than solo, it's going to be less XP and slower because the XP is split among the party. Okay, why is Asmongold in your thumbnail? So the reason Asmongold is in one of the thumbnails is I'm doing what's called an A/B split test, and this is something you do in marketing to see if you can get a higher conversion rate. One of the things I specialize in is conversion rate optimization. So one of the things we like to do is experiment, and one of the cool things you can do is experiment with different types of thumbnails on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead, you can actually see the experiment right now is running for the Death Knight solo Blood Furnace leveling guide. You can see that there's 2 different thumbnails. One of them does have Asmon on it, and we'll know in a couple days which one is getting more clicks and more views, and my guess is it's going to be the Asmon thumbnail. You could see one of the other thumbnail tests I did here, and we were basically testing, we said we're testing the mullet guy versus Britney Spears, and everybody really thought Britney Spears was going to get more clicks. Turns out people like the mullet guy. I mean, so now you know, if you have red hair and a mullet, you're more attractive than Britney Spears. How much more attractive? 446% more attractive. So this is why we do this in marketing. If you can increase somebody's click-through rate by 446%, you can get a job anywhere. My guess is that the Asmon thumbnail will win, but many of you disliked that thumbnail, so I'm gonna go to work on doing better thumbnails in the future. I'm actually going to run a thumbnail test with this video, so let me know in the comments below which thumbnail you saw. Somebody asked why I was doing this duo. The other night I was playing with my buddy and we were duoing through Blood Furnace. It was obviously slower and less XP.
It blew up in my face.
You better be careful, bro. I can't heal you. You gotta... Don't run over that bomb! Oh my...
Oh, I did?
You ran right over him. You ran right over a mine, dude. You like literally jumped on a mine. The reason I was doing it is because I was having fun. I was just having fun and playing with my buddy, and that's my priority. My priority wasn't to get to 70 the fastest. It was to enjoy the game and have some fun, play with friends. When TBC first launched, a bunch of us went hard. We actually kind of like, it was unhealthy, basically. We didn't sleep. We grinded all week. We did the dungeon grind. We got to 70 and we were completely burned out by the end of the week. So we all actually told ourselves, we're like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. That wasn't worth it. We're not doing it in Wrath. We're not doing it in the pre-patch. So yeah, we're going to play a lot more than we normally do, but we're going to keep it to a healthy level. So a lot of people have saying that they've been struggling even just starting out and with the Fel Imps and some of the Adepts in that first room. And so I really wanted to tell you guys about the scariest thing in Blood Furnace, okay? The scariest thing in Blood Furnace is you.
You are a death knight. You are an instrument of the Lich King's will. You are bringing death and destruction everywhere you go, and leaving nothing but bodies in the world.
That's the mindset I want you to have when you go into Blood Furnace. Now, all that being said, the next scariest thing in Blood Furnace are Adepts, okay? Those guys without the t-shirt in the beginning, okay? Those guys smack. These guys do some serious damage, okay? So once you get to a point where you can pull 4 of these guys, you should be pretty comfortable in there. When you can come in here and you can almost pull this whole room. I don't think I ever pulled 6, but you know, I might try that the next time I go in there. But I just wanted to let you guys know. You should be confident as you go in there. There's nothing in here that's scarier than you are, okay? The only thing that is even close are these Adepts. They have a Thrash ability that gives them 2 extra attacks, and from what I can see, it doesn't have a cooldown, so they can use this ability back to back for some serious, like, spiky damage. I included a link to a full Blood Furnace clear, killing the last boss. That will be included in the description below this video. Thank you guys for all the support, all the love in the video. Really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to Wrath. I think this is going to be a great time for WoW Classic. If you'd like to support me, I've already been awesome. All the people that have been coming in and hanging out in stream. So if you want to come out, hang out and stream, you can follow me at twitch.tv//oom. If you're on the Mankrik Horde side, hit me up. You know, I was doing BGs with viewers. I'll be doing BGs and some raids this week and getting some gear, and we're just having a lot of fun and playing with the new talents. And as always,
you know what to do. Oh, ha, Lopon, yeah, Word, that's for my mama.